Assalamualaikum! Ako nga po pala si Almira K. Balogan. So now, Chapter 7 from our books, which is about the basic of experimental. So now let's proceed the evaluation or evaluating operational definition. So first is reliability. Reliability. So reliability, it refers to the consistency of the experimental operational definition and measured operational definitions. So reliability is it refers to consistency. So like for example, a reliable bathroom scale should display the same weight if you measure yourself 3 times in the same minute. So next, interior reliability is the degree to which observers agree in their measurement of the behavior. So example, the degree to which 3 observers agree when scoring the same personal essay for optimism. Test-retest reliability means the degree to which a person's scores are consistent across 2 or more administrations of a measurement procedure. So, I give us example, high correlated scores on the Wishers Adult Intelligence Scale revised when it is administered twice or 2 weeks apart. Next, iterative reliability. Measure the degree to which different parts of an instrument, questionnaire, or test that are designed to measure the same variable achieve consistent result. So now let's proceed the validity. So validity means the operational definition accurately manipulates the independent variable or measure the dependent variables. Phase validity is the degree to which the validity of a manipulation of measurements technique is the self-evident. This is the less stringent form of validity. Like for example, using a ruler to measure a pupil size. So, content validity means how accurately and measurement procedure sample the content of the dependent variable. Example again, an exam or over chapters 1 to 4 only contains questions about the chapter 2 has a poor content validity. Next, predictive validity means how accurately a measurement procedure predicts future performance. Example, the SAT has a predictive validity if these scores are significantly correlated with college GPA or general GPA. So next, construct validity is how accurately an operational definition represent a construct. So example, a construct of abusive parents might include their perception of their neighbors and as unfriendly. Internal validity is a degree to which changes in the dependent variable across treatment conditions were due to the independent variable. Or internal validity establishes a cause and effect relationship between the independent and dependent variable. Next, this chapter is the extraneous variables and confounding. So, I already explained the confounding. So, confounded experiment or an experiment is confounded when the value of an extraneous variable systematically changes along with the independent variables. Or for example, we could confound our experiment if we an experimental subjects in the morning and control subjects at the night. And also, I explained the problem of confounding. Or the problem of confounding occurs when in extraneous variable systematically changes across the experimental condition. Like for example, again, a study comparing the effect of meditation and prayer on blood pressure would be confounded if one group exercise more. So now, the classic traits to internal validity. So psychology, Donald Campbell 1957, Campbell and Stanley 1966, and Cook and Campbell 1979 identify the 8 kinds of extraneous variables. So this is according to the Campbell psychologists they are the identified 8 kinds of extraneous variables, which is first, history. History states occurs when an event outside the experiment triggers internal validity by changing the dependent variable. So, history unexpected events occur between the pre and post test affecting the dependent variable. Like for example, in a short experiment designed to investigate the effect of computer-based instruction, and participants missed some instruction because of a power failure of the school. Another example is subject in a group A were weighed before lunch, while those in a group B were weighed after a lunch. Next, maturation threat is produced when physical or psychological changes in the subject threaten internal validity by changing the DV. Like for example, the boredom may increase subject errors on approving tasks. Example again, the performance of first graders in a learning experiments begin decreasing after 45 minutes because of the fatigue or change. The maturation is changes occur in the participants from growing older, wiser, more experienced, etc. during the study. Next, testing. Testing threats occurs when prior exposure to measurements procedure affect performance on this measure during the experiment. Like for example, experimental subjects use a blood pressure of cuff daily, while control subject only use one during a pre-test measurement. Next, instrumentation threat is when changes in the measurement instrument or measuring procedure threatens internal validity. Example, if reaction time measurements become less accurate during the experimental than the control condition. Statistical regression threat occurs when subjects are assigned to condition on the basis of extreme scores. The measurements procedure is not completely reliable, and subjects are relisted using the same procedure to measure change on the dependent variable. Selection threat occurs when individual differences are not balanced across treatment condition by the assignment procedure. Example, despite the random assignment, subject in the experimental group were more extroverted than those in the control group. Subject mortality threat is occurs when subject drop out of experimental condition at different rate. Like for example, even if subject in each group started out with a comparable anxiety scores, dropout could produce differences on these variables. And the last is selection interaction. Occurs when a selection threat combines with at least one other threat, like the following are history, maturation, statistical regression, subject mortality, or testing. So now let's proceed the method, or what is the purpose of the method section of an APA report, or method section of an APA research report. Describe the participants or apparatus or materials and procedure of the experiment. This section provides the reader with sufficient detail who, what, when, and how to exactly replicate your study. And where is an apparatus section needed? An apparatus needed a section of an APA research report is appropriate when the equipment used in a study was unique or specialized, or when we need to explain the capabilities of more common equipment so that the reader can better evaluate or replicate the experiment. Thank you for listening and watching. Bye-bye!